So what if willpower wasn't just about, pushing through obstacles? What if it was about being so valuable that even your enemies couldn't afford to get rid of you? Today, we're going to dive into this incredible idea through a story from Chanakya, one of history's greatest strategists. It's a lesson on how true strength can literally bend reality itself. Right at the heart of our story is this powerful proverb: even destiny has to bow before strong willpower. Now, that's a pretty bold claim, right? But this isn't just some motivational quote you see on a poster. It's actually a strategic principle that was put to the ultimate test, as we're about to find out. All right, so our story kicks off with a really tense showdown. We're about to witness an encounter between two of the most brilliant minds of their time, locked in a battle that's going to decide the future of an entire empire. Okay, so picture this. Chanakya, the master planner, finds himself completely outmaneuvered. He's totally surrounded, captured by his arch-rival, the equally clever Amatya Rakshasa. By all accounts, the game is over. Chanakya has well and truly lost. But then, instead of pleading for his life or trying to negotiate, Chanakya does something just extraordinary. He looks his captor right in the eye and lays out two choices for him. He basically says, "So, what's it going to be? Are you taking me prisoner, or are you just going to let me continue my campaign?" I mean, the sheer audacity of it is just stunning. And here is where the story takes a wild turn. Amatya Rakshasa, a man who has spent all this time and energy trying to destroy Chanakya, makes a choice that seems to defy all logic. He lets him go. Just like that. So the question is, why? Why would a brilliant strategist let his greatest enemy just walk away scot-free? This decision is the central mystery we've got to solve. Now, let's switch gears and look at this whole thing from the perspective of Chanakya's student, who is there for the whole thing. He thinks he knows what just happened, but really, he's only seeing the tip of the iceberg. So the student is absolutely thrilled. He turns to his teacher and is like, "Master, I get it. Amatya Rakshasa was scared of us. Our bluff totally worked." And to be fair, that's the most logical conclusion, isn't it? You act confident, your enemy gets rattled and makes a mistake. Simple as that. But this moment right here shows the huge gap between what it looks like happened and what actually went down. The student sees fear, but Chanakya reveals the shocking truth. He tells his student, no, he wasn't afraid. He knew everything. He knew we were completely cornered. And that just makes the puzzle even deeper. So now we're staring at the real question. If Amatya Rakshasa wasn't fooled, if he knew he had the absolute upper hand, why on earth would he let his opponent go? It wasn't because he was scared, and it definitely wasn't a mistake. So what was it? Well, the answer doesn't lie in a battle of wits. It's actually something much more profound. We're talking about a level of strategic thinking that goes way beyond just winning or losing a fight. It's all about mutual respect. These are the words of Amatya Rakshasa himself, explaining why he did what he did. That which is precious must be preserved in a time of crisis for the good of the nation. And here's the key. He stopped seeing Chanakya as just an enemy. He started seeing him as a national treasure. Rakshasa's decision was built on this foundation of incredible respect. He didn't just see a rival he needed to beat. He saw someone whose value to the country was just too big to ignore. This forced him to prioritize the nation's future over his own personal victory. He realized that getting rid of Chanakya, even in his moment of triumph, would actually be a huge long-term loss for the very kingdom they were both, in their own ways, trying to serve. And this brings us right back around full circle to that proverb we started with, because now we can finally understand the true victory that happened that day. It was the victory of willpower. So, what does strong willpower really mean in this story? It's not just about gritting your teeth and pushing forward. No, it's a force of character so powerful, so smart, and so valuable that it commands respect even from your fiercest rival. It's about being an asset that your opponent literally can't afford to destroy. Let's be really clear about this. Chanakya didn't survive because of a clever trick. He survived because his willpower, his mind, his vision, his value to the nation was so undeniable that it completely rewrote his enemy's strategy. Amatya Rakshasa wasn't weak for letting him go. He was wise enough to recognize a value that was greater than his own victory. This story leaves us with a really powerful final thought. True willpower isn't about overpowering other people. It's about building a character so valuable that it changes the entire game.
forcing even your opponents to see you as an asset. So, the question for all of us is, how can we build a will that doesn't just face our destiny, but actively gets to shape it?